welcome to the Otaku Podcast for the last time, because as you probably heard, for the last time for now, as you've probably heard, this is going to be our last Otaku Podcast. Sad news, but we might be back in the future. But we'll get more onto this in a little bit. How's it going, David?
Things are going pretty well, Sachi. How are you?
I'm good. Life is going. It's going.
That's good. That's good to hear. Life is going because
that's how I can describe it right now. It's going.
It's not going as much on my end.
No.
So I'm hoping that will change soon.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping that'll change soon. Trying to keep my mind open and my lookout to be great. So let's do this. This should be fun.
Let's jump right into it. As per tradition, let's introduce ourselves for the last time.
Little tear.
So hello to everyone who's joining us. I'm Sachi. I am a cosplayer, even though I haven't cosplayed in like a year, and a vlogger over on YouTube, and one of the main hosts of the Otaku Podcast. I don't really know how else to. We don't really have a question of the day, do we?
The question of the day will be whatever people want to ask us. We will be happy to answer.
Right.
So we'll let you know when we're ready to take questions. So please please let us know what they are in the chat, and we'll be happy to take all questions, barring creepy stuff. Like, at a certain point, if it gets too creepy, at that point we'll say, okay, we're not answering questions.
It'll
like
end up in my creepy comments.
It'll be in your next video. Can I be in that one? Because that'd be kind of fun.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
Okay, yeah, over to you, David.
Hey, oh my God, it's been since October. I'm David. I have a channel on YouTube called DB Steel Media. There I created Nisekoi Abridged and a parody of Sakura So no Peto na Kanojo that I called My Housemates Are Ruining My Social Life, and co-host of the Otaku Podcast, as well as our archival editor and sound mix guy after the fact. So if there's been, for example, episodes where one of us has been super loud, which I know I'm loud already, but more so with mics, I've been the guy who corrects that after the fact, so it's not as deafening.
Woo! The sound guy who fixes all of my...
the sound guy, the editor.
All of my fuck-ups, he fixes those.
And more importantly, if any of you who are watching who like to do editing videos, who like to make videos and so forth, who are needing a quick edit because you're busy with your regular life, just hit me up. I'd be happy to help you out with that.
Woo! All right. So I guess our main question of the day is, why are we taking a hiatus? Indefinite hiatus. Why is this the last
That's our
podcast?
Question for ourselves. That's our question for ourselves. The question we asked.
Let's answer this one for now, and then if you have any questions for us, make sure to leave them in the comments. Make sure to leave us a comment. Because this is going to be more of like an informal question and answer podcast, and we're going to be reflecting back on the previous podcasts that we've done, because we started this back in 2016, was it?
Yep. January 2016 was the first episode.
I think just almost
just over 2 years.
2 years, yeah. So that's exciting, but yeah, I guess we'll jump right into it. Our explanation of hiatus is that you guys have probably noticed for the past little while that we haven't been doing podcasts, and that's because life is busy. Life is really busy. Sorry, the stream is doing a thing. Let me just fix this.
I noticed that.
But yeah, no, life is busy. You guys get to see my ghetto OBS editing. We might as well close this out with me not being able to
but if you go, but if you leave, then I won't. But if you go, then I can't host it. This is on your end.
That's true.
So, there's that. So unfortunately we all have things to We all have things that we're trying to do. I'm trying to find full-time work
The
and
job hunt, the post
the
university
the
grind,
the
dat
post
grind.
university, post college grind too, because I've
That's
done
true.
both, and that was it's been brutal. I've had basically no hits on that, which really stinks. But nobody seems to be hiring right now, which is never fun. But that's life, and I'm hopeful that I'll be able to have a full-time job by the end of the year, and more
Oh my
importantly,
god.
aside from my own well-being and being able to help myself out, the completion of Nisekoi Bridge episode 4.
Yay! I
I
recorded lines for that today.
Yes, thank you for getting those to me.
Yeah, I'm really bad at
No,
recording lines.
that's okay. That's okay. You're not the only one who had lines outstanding, including my own. But there's a reason I haven't done mine yet. It's because I want to have everybody's lines all together before I do it. Because that way I don't have to go back and ask for a ton of. I don't want to have to do a ton of retake requests when I can just craft my own performance around it. Because I'm working with people in Australia, with people in the United States, all across the U.S., California, Alabama, I think as well, Ontario, Canada, as Sachi just alluded to, and trying to think about where everyone else is. I think that's it.
It
I
was
think
really
everyone else
funny
is here.
because, oh my god, sorry guys. Skype is just dancing around today.
Yeah.
I haven't done this streaming thing in a little while, I'm right, you guys? But anyway, so for David's script, he has a part that I have to scream out, "You're a fucking closet weeb." And so typically when I do voice act, I don't voice act that much, but when I do voice lines for other people, I like to do maybe like 6 different takes. So I'm literally screaming into the microphone because the instructions were like aggressive and like yelling. I was just doing like, "You're a fucking closet weeb," over and over. My dad's just standing in the doorway, and I like look over at him and he's like, "Dinner's ready," and I'm like, "Oh my god, yikes."
Yeah. It's in context. It'll be. I hope it'll be funny. But there will also be something that I'll talk about a little later with regards to that episode, as well as what we're doing right now, to tide us over a little bit, I guess. So yeah, as we were saying about reason for hiatus is life is very busy, and unfortunately, we lost our original third co-host way back in 2016, and then we
Actually,
lost
I
our
think
regular guest.
that'd be a funny thing to go into. I think a lot of people don't realize how the 4 of us hosts came together. So why don't we talk a little bit about what inspired the podcast in the beginning and how we all kind of came together for it. So I guess the main kind of summarized version of it is that we were all in the same program in university. We were in like a multimedia program together, which meant that we basically spent most days together in our like university media lab working on projects, just complaining about things.
I missed the lab.
The lab was good times. It was a 24-hour lab, and people would literally just stay there like overnight and hang out and work on projects, video projects, editing projects. All of our classes were in there too. So yeah, and so this was a program where our bachelor's was 4-year degree, but we had to apply to get into multimedia in second year. So we all like knew of each other, I guess. In second year,
I didn't know about anybody.
in second year,
yeah,
in second year, I was friends with B and Ben, but like to the extent of they were classmates, and I had to do like maybe 2 projects with them. Then in third year, I like went to the UK. I was like, "Peace out, guys." And apparently, people thought I like dropped out. Like people didn't realize I was in the UK because I came back, and I remember Matt Towers was like, "Oh, I thought you dropped out," and I'm like, "No, I'm."
I just remember. I remember you coming back and said, "I don't recognize you. Who were you? When did you join the program?"
I just disappeared.
I didn't really get to know you. I didn't get to really know
anyone
you
in second year, but I knew like in fourth year it kind of came out where I was like, I like anime, and then B was very open about her love for fairy tale. Like we used to have discussions about it, and then I think Camilleri was also into it because I remember we talked about like Naruto. Was it
He's
Naruto?
big on Cowboy Bebop in particular.
Yeah. And so I
So
think
that
we
was
were
something.
having a conversation about it, and then I think that's how I started talking to you, and you were like, "Yeah, I like anime too. I'm a
Yeah,
fucking
I
closet
like
weeb."
anime too. And then I think we were talking about you were talking about how you did cons
Yeah, cons and
and the
cosplay.
like, and I said, did you? I think Code Geass came into the
Yeah,
topics
yeah.
at one point, and I asked if you
Chihuahua.
had exactly, and
Yeah.
I asked if you knew about Flow, the group that did that song,
If
and
I Jiboon Woad.
yeah, Jibun Wo, because they were going to be playing at OtakuCon in
Otaku-thon.
Montreal that year.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, shit, I wanted to go. Um, quick interjection: Smash Kevin Smash in the chat says he's going to Japan in October. Pretty excited.
Ooh,
Have a
that is
great time. I
exciting.
went to Japan in October, though I did get hit by a typhoon, so that was fun. Not me personally, but I was there when it happened. And yeah, no, Japan's a beautiful country, especially in the fall.
October. Was it super hot?
Anyway,
It was, right?
no, it wasn't. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh, okay. But
But
yes, back to university times.
yeah, back to the unique conversation. This was at a bar where our instructors for our thesis project said, "Hey, let's all go out and get drinks, and we'll pay." And then they didn't pay for our drinks because they're assholes.
Wasn't this like after
After
like
everything was
this
done,
after this was in the spring, right? And so we had like a
yeah.
final like class dinner at like a bar, the university bar. And then I remember David and I, we were at the same table and we were just talking like, "Hey, we should do a
B,
podcast," or like, "Hey,
B
we
was
should
there
do like
too.
we
The
should do like a
the
show or
three of us,
something."
and I think Towers was there
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
The four of us were just talking anime, and I think you were the
Talking
one who put the
anime.
idea. I think you were the one who put the idea of a podcast up, and I thought that sounds like a fun idea. And then it took a year to get it off the ground, but you know,
I was very
uh,
into podcasts at that time because I used to listen to podcasts while I was like sweatshopping my thesis project. But yeah,
yeah,
no,
you put
then
it insane on that.
yeah, and then so we finally a year later we decided we were going to do this podcast, but shortly after B moved to Japan, right?
Yeah,
Because she
right
was only
after the
here
Valentine's
for
Day
like a
episode.
few, maybe like what like 2 episodes or something, and then she moved.
She was here for the Valentine's Day episode and the Toradora special, and then
Mm,
she moved. She actually moved right after the Valentine's Day special, but the
mm,
Valentine's Day episode. But because we put the Toradora one out after the fact,
mm-hmm,
uh, which we recorded before she left.
mm.
But then, yeah, like she was just gone. Then she came back that one
Gone.
time. Then she came back that one time back in
Christmas.
December of 2016.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
during the time when B was in Japan, we also brought our friend Ben in on it, and Ben like as oh hold on, god damn it,
Is
Skype
everything
keeps
okay?
shifting around. I'm sorry,
Oh
technical
no.
difficulties. So Ben, oh, are you
Mm.
joking? Okay, so anyway, Ben was kind of into anime, but like
Mm-hmm.
not really. He was
More.
interested in it, but he wasn't as into it, I think, as we were. But it was
No,
just it was interesting
he
to
was more
have
into
like
things like.
an outsider an
Mhm.
outsider's perspective on things.
Make him watch all the weird stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, all
it
the
was
weird stuff.
good. I think it was really fun during our little run. But then again, with B being in Japan, scheduling just got really hard.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
it
got
was
hard because of a
time
13 or
difference.
14-hour time difference, depending on whether daylight saving time was in effect for us. Because they don't do
Mm-hmm.
it over there.
Yeah.
They don't do it, and
Mm-hmm.
I kind of miss that because
Mm.
it was kind of funny when I was there. I was on my iPhone and I was able to see where my like I think my dad's or mom's iPad or something at
Mm.
home
Yeah.
had like the Find My Friends app on it, and so I
Oh
could see
yeah.
how far away from home I was. I think it was like
Yeah.
11,000 kilometers away from home.
Oh no. So
the
far.
furthest I've ever been, the furthest I've ever been away from home. But
Yeah, yeah.
that it was cool to see that. And then, if I was up at like 2 in the morning or something like that,
Yeah.
it'd be like 3 p.m. or 1 p.m. for them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if I was on the bullet train, I said, "Hey, Dad, quickly check the map and see how fast I'm moving."
Yeah,
Moving
yeah.
so fast. It was interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did you end
So
up meeting with B? I can't remember. It was a while ago.
yes, yes,
Yeah, you did,
yes.
right?
B is still alive and doing pretty well from what I remember. Though I haven't spoke to her since
Mm.
October.
Yeah.
I it's been hard to keep in touch, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, she's doing okay, and we had dinner while we were in Osaka and
Oh.
caught up a
Oh,
little
the
bit.
otaku hosts. You guys can't
We
really
had
see,
a little
but
bit of thing.
David's
There
wearing
is
his otaku shirt. It's kind of cut
yes,
off at
like
the
the
bottom.
only one in existence, the only one in existence.
Yay!
A, a cheap T-shirt from Vistaprint, um,
Ooh, otaku
which
pride the
by the way
memories. Oh.
I should probably make note this is not sponsored. We have never been sponsored. I'll just say things.
I
Uh,
wish.
if only, right?
If only.
Uh, if we had a sponsorship, then maybe we'd be at the level of prestige that Anime FMK, which is a new Team 4 Star venture, that pseudo podcast, mostly video stuff. Uh, they do all video quality stuff, and it's
Mm,
really interesting. So if you're looking for something to sort of fill that otaku
the
void after,
otaku void.
go check out 4 Star Bento and watch Anime FMK, which
Mm,
is pretty funny. But I would encourage you all watch it from the beginning, which was last season. So they did fall 2017, and now they're into winter 2018. So it's best to start from the very beginning so you understand their whole concept,
mm,
and that you don't feel too lost on it. Plus,
mm-hmm.
the shows they had last season were really good.
Yeah. I find that I'm not really up to date on any of the new anime series. I'm so behind.
Neither am I.
Like, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch Haruhi, which was back in like 10 years ago. I'm like, I
Longer.
feel nostalgic. That was back in like
12
2000.
year old,
Oh,
12 years
2006?
old anime.
Was that 2006?
Yeah, 2006.
It
In
was good.
2006, I remember getting
It was a
in
good time.
2016. I remember getting the box set for Haruhi, the
Mm.
complete collection, and it came with seasons 1 and 2, and like a chibi spin-off show that they
Yeah.
had that's like 25 episodes or something, and
Yeah.
then it also came with that 2016 the 2015
Yeah,
disappearance
the
of
movie.
no, it didn't come with the movie.
Oh, not the
It
movie.
came with they had a revival series. I
Mm.
don't think KyoAni did it.
Yeah.
It was I think A1 Pictures actually animated it, but it was the disappearance of Nagato Yuki-chan, which
Oh,
was
true.
pretty good actually.
Oh.
Which was pretty good actually. I'll admit I didn't actually finish it because life hit me in the face and I couldn't get back on it.
Mm.
So that's one of the things I'm gonna try and hop back on and finish. I've
Mm.
got something worked out to
Yeah.
catch up on anime, but
Yeah.
really all I've been watching in the last couple of months has just been like OG Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Crunchyroll,
I
where
kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
they have the subtitled version up now, so you can see all like the unedited awesomeness, including no talk of shadow realms and all that bullshit.
Yeah.
Uh, it's and I have to say, like in the Japanese dub of Yu-Gi-Oh, the main bad guy from season 2, Merrick, he is really fucking
Oh my God,
intimidating.
Merrick.
Like,
I'm having
that guy,
flashbacks to watching it on like
his
YTV.
oh my god, yeah, his evil version that had the gods and everything. He in the Japanese version, he sounds like a serial killer. He's
Mm.
awesome. It's
True.
awesome
True.
and intimidating, and I never thought I would say that about about a bad guy character.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it gave a lot of new perspective, and it was interesting.
Yeah. No, that's
So it's
interesting.
yeah. So if you get a chance to sort of, I'm bored and have nothing better to do,
Just
throw
go
on
back and rewatch
throw
Yu-Gi-Oh.
on like subtitled Yu-Gi-Oh, which
Mm.
is available up to the end of like the Battle City thing. It just finished on Crunchyroll like
Mhm.
3 years after they launched it on 3 years after they launched 5 episodes like every month.
Mm.
So it's taken a long time, but I'm happy it's there because
Mhm.
you don't have to go to sketchy sites to watch the original.
Woo! Sketchy sites. The
Yeah,
only other
all
anime I've been watching has been Devil Man Crybaby. Is that what it's called? The one that's
yeah,
on
that's
Netflix that everyone's like freaking
yeah
out about. I've watched like
yeah
2 episodes so far, and I'm like, don't really know what's going on. But I mean, people
yeah.
on
I don't
Twitter
know.
seem to really like it. I don't particularly see anything that
Yeah,
great.
I mean, you can't really go wrong with the Netflix subscription. They've got a fair bit of anime now, which is
Mm.
good. Um, but at the same time, there's not a ton of
Mm-hmm.
stuff that they have. I haven't watched Magi or Magi, however you want to
Yeah,
call it,
yeah, yeah.
the Labyrinth of Magic and the
Yeah,
Kingdom
yeah.
of Magic. I really enjoyed the
I remember when
Labyrinth of
that came
Magic.
out, yeah.
I haven't seen Kingdom yet,
Mm.
but more importantly, you all have questions for us, so let's go back and answer a few of them. Let me just see. Where was the last one that I answered? I think it was just from Smash
I,
Kevin Smash, who said he's
yeah.
going to Japan. Um,
Japan.
wasn't even really a question. He was just sort of making a statement.
Yeah, I want to go to Japan.
Questions. Let's just do a pseudo reunion and do it like a year and a half before the Olympics.
Where are they now?
Well, it's like, where are they now? Well, we're in Japan and we're going to watch a couple of the Olympic Games and also be in Japan.
That's
It's
true.
awesome.
I don't know
Let
if
me
I'd want to be in
see.
Japan during the Olympics, though. I feel like it would be so crowded and like
Oh, I thought it would be crowded just in
insane.
general, but it wasn't too crowded or insane. But I guess
Mm.
it depends on where you go.
Mm.
Let me see.
Are you going to any conventions this year, David?
I'm not sure. What about you?
So I know I'm going to Anime North in May because that's the one I've always gone to since I was a wee young high school child. Um, it's actually we might not go just because I've been to that convention so many times. I feel like I'm kind of over Anime North now. But Emily and I are planning to get an artist alley table because we want to sell like the pins and stuff we were making, pins and prints.
Oh,
So
sounds like
if
fun.
we get like an artist alley table, then I think we'll go for sure, and we'll get like a hotel
Mm-hmm.
or something. But right now, it's like maybe we'll go on this Saturday. I'm just kind
Yeah,
of over
that's
Anne.
sort of like what I did last year, where
Mm,
I just went the one day.
yeah. Are you
I
going
couldn't
this year?
afford to take that much time. I'm not sure. Reason I'm not sure is because, like I said earlier, I'm trying to find full time work.
Yeah.
So if I have a full time job and I'm not working on a weekend, then sure. But
Mhm.
if I'm stuck in my part time job, which requires me to be available on the weekend, then not so
Book
much.
it off like
I
two
would have
months
to.
in advance.
I'd have to book it off like 2 months in advance because
Yeah.
it often happens the week of like May 2/4.
Mhm.
So that really screws me over because everyone books off for that weekend, so
That's
it's just
true.
not
Do
possible.
it now. Do it right now. 5 months in
I'd
advance.
have to. I'd have to.
5 months.
At the same time, though, I'm hopeful that I'll be able to go if that works out. But
Mhm.
I did see that they are also being held at the Congress Center again, which
Mhm.
is great because
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just not in downtown and
Mhm.
not a nightmare
Yeah.
not a nightmare of you're trying to get past people. I mean, yeah, it's still crowded, but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's not as insane.
Yeah, that's true.
But
The other one that I'm planning on going to is Anime Expo because that is like my favorite con ever. I
uh,
freaking love Anime Expo, and I try to go every single year. And this year, now that I know that I'm like for sure gonna be able to go, I'm like, hell yeah! I'm buying my ticket maybe in like March
mhm,
because basically the day after Anime Expo last year, we booked our Airbnb for this upcoming year because we wanted to be right across from the
nice.
convention center. So I am ready. That is my one
Mhm,
con, and then the only one after that might be Fan Expo because I might be
yeah,
moving downtown, and if that's the case, I'll be like super close. So
yeah. And I went to Fan Expo last year for a day, and I was there with Alex and his friends,
hmm.
and um, it was okay. I mean, it was a lot more just comic stuff
Yeah, yeah, it's not
and
really
anime stuff.
anime.
A ton of Funimation actors were there though,
Yeah,
which I thought
they
was
do get
cool.
quite good guests there actually.
But at the same time, I thought it'd be cool to go get autographs, but I really don't want to pay for autographs. Thanks.
Yeah, yeah. Fan
I
Expo
had to
does
do that.
charge, I think.
I had to do a.
Oh, it's a
Sorry,
pupper. It's a
sorry,
pupper.
dog. Family just got home, so the dog is excited. Yeah, no, the I'm trying to think. At Anime North, I had to pay like $10 to do an autograph and photo with Team Four Star, but
Mhm.
the photo was on my phone, and that's fine. And everyone before me and after me was doing everyone who was getting pictures with them a solid and just taking the
Mm.
pictures for them and
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was cool, but I didn't have a ton of money in August last year, so I was like,
You
no,
should
I
definitely,
can't
if
do
you
it.
can, go to Anime Expo. Because I feel like David would freaking love Anime Expo. Like,
I probably would, but I'd be
yeah.
bankrupt by the end of it.
Yeah, no, it is an
But
expensive trip, but I
yeah.
know because you're really into voice acting, they do, was it Boom Sonic or something? Boom Studios?
Bang Zoom,
Bang
Bang Zoom,
Zoom.
I
What am
think.
I was like, what was I saying? Boom
Boom Sonic.
Sonic?
That
I
sounds
don't,
like
I knew it was like BS. I knew it was BS.
I knew it was BS. It's actually BZ
So
or
wait,
BZ if you live in America.
Bang Zoom?
Bang Zoom,
Oh, I was
as in
thinking Bang Studios. Um,
that
Bang
sounds like
Zoom.
something that is not
Bang
appropriate
Zoom.
for
What?
anime
Okay,
necessarily,
whatever
unless.
this thing is called, they host was it open auditions,
Mhm,
bleh.
yeah,
Where basically you go up on a stage. I think they give you a script, and then you can just audition there. And I know the line to audition is quite long because it's all full of like aspiring anime voice actors and actresses. And
yeah,
yeah, no, it's really cool. You get like I remember last year we were watching people audition, and it was just it's incredible what some people's voices can do.
yeah. The tricky part though is that you need to be able to act and not just make silly voices. And
Yeah,
I don't claim to be able to do either,
yeah,
but I did used to act long time ago.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
It was really good. Anime Expo is just incredible. So if you ever get the chance to go, I would highly recommend it.
if I ever get the funds to go, I might do it, but I probably wouldn't go unless I, knew somebody else who was going to be there.
Everyone's there. Everyone, every
Actually,
YouTuber, it's crazy. Like the anime YouTuber meetup last year was really big. It was really fun.
I know that Giguk and Sid Snap were there, which
They
I
were
thought was kind
there.
of cool. You were messaging me while it happened. I thought, oh my god, like you and Original
Yeah,
Totoge from Nisekoi Bridge are in the same space.
yeah,
That's pretty cool because
yeah,
I tried to meet up with her in Tokyo while I was there,
yeah, yeah.
uh, but she was sick as a dog,
Mm,
and so she said she just couldn't do it,
that's
which
true.
I understand, but it sucks.
Yeah. Misty Cronexia was there.
I've heard of it.
Aki Dearest was there, and her boyfriend, Anime Man. Uh, Glass
I know of
Reflection was
Man.
there. Um, who else? Mother's
I,
Basement was there. So it was like, oh, and then you had
yeah,
like Dodger and like
last
Happy
re-
Learin.
last reflection,
He's
last
he's
reflection,
from around here.
and Mother's Basement, I think were both on Podtaku.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm not surprised. So I'm not surprised that they were at Garn's meetup.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It's funny because I didn't know a girl I know from like the convention scene is dating Mother's Basement now, so it was like, oh, a small world. All of us from like Ontario.
Yeah, it is a pretty small world.
Mm-hmm.
There are questions that we should be answering and upholding our pledge. T-Sim asks, who here has seen Mary and the Witch's Flower?
I have.
I have not.
I
I'm
have
working on it.
because I did like a video sponsorship with them, so I got to see the movie before it was released. But it was really cute.
That's awesome.
I really
That's
like
good.
it
I'm glad to hear.
because it's like Studio Ghibli, but it's not Studio Ghibli. Because I feel like all Studio
Mhm.
Ghibli does now is like slice of life series and like historical slice of life stuff. They
Yeah,
don't do like the fantasy series that they were famous for. And
yeah.
so Studio Ponok is kind of taking over for that, which I really
Okay,
like.
so that answers my next question, which was from T-Sim as well. It's like, what do you think about Studio Ponok? I Before you said Studio Ponok did this film, I had
Mm.
no idea who the heck they were.
I didn't know
Uh,
either until I got like a press
but
release for it. I was like, oh,
when
huh.
I saw all the screenshots from, I think you had a bunch of screenshots in your video.
Yeah.
But if you didn't have a bunch of screenshots in your video, I think Tokyosaurus did,
Mm.
and it looks beautiful
It
for that
is. It's
for
a
the work on that movie.
yeah. It's
So
very Studio Ghibli. I think that
it's very much
if
on my
you
watch list.
if you didn't like if you just watched the film and you didn't know anything about the studios, you'd be like, oh yeah, Studio Ghibli put out another film. But
Yeah.
it's gorgeous. I love it. You have like the spunky like female heroine character that's very reminiscent of like Kiki's Delivery Service and like Nausicaa kind of. Where you have like a heroine who's like, I don't give a fuck, I'm gonna do whatever I want. Except she's quite young as well, which I think is really nice. And yeah, it's a beautiful movie, and I can't wait to see what other films Studio Ponok puts out because I miss those like Studio Ghibli fantasy films. They're really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Philly Pop asks you specifically about AX. Is there going to be more meetups with Tofu?
Tofu, of course. I love tofu. Tofu, my little sister Tofu.
Good.
Yeah, we typically do like meetups every year, so
that sounds good. Red Star Rising TV. Don't know how I feel about that name, but to each their own. What's everyone's opinions on Boruto? I think the manga is pretty good, but the anime is lacking a bit. I have seen a few episodes of Boruto while I was in Japan. I was channel flipping and I found TV Tokyo. I think it looks very nice. Its presentation is good. The acting isn't Black Clover bad, which I don't know if you knew much about the fallout from Black Clover, but that was a show that started last season, and the main character had the most atrocious yelling episodes, like all the time. Like that was his character to just be yelling all the time, man. And I don't know. One way that Giguk made fun of it in his anime of 2017 was he started playing the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
Oh my god!
If you've ever heard that song, you know how Robert Plant's doing his bit of a cry at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
It started with that, and then it's quickly cut into what the main character Asta was yelling.
Yeah.
Exactly like the same.
That was a good yell. That was a good yell.
It was massively edited. But at the same time, because I love Led Zeppelin, it made me cringe so much. I thought, why did you ruin one of my favorite songs with this crap? Now
everyone loves a good cringe.
Apparently, and this is according to people who are on 4-Star Bentos at Anime FMK, they said that the dub from Funimation of that, which is a broadcast dub, is actually way better because the actor for said character, Asta, isn't as irritating on the ears.
Oh, that's good.
Like,
that's
because
something
the screaming
you want to
isn't as like just Google, like just YouTube search Asta scream Black Clover after you'll understand why people hate it. But yeah. Let me think.
I watched Boruto. I watched like 2 episodes at Anime Expo. I'm really not caught up with it. Like I remember there was a point in second year university where I like binge read the Naruto manga, and then I think I read it up to the Killer Bee arc and then like stopped. So I think I was like 400 into the 600 chapters.
700 final. And
700, yeah. So at that time, I think it was around 650. So I got about like 450 in, and then like exams came, and then I just never went back to it. So I'm very behind.
Big war happens.
Yeah.
It's been over for like 4 years now. So that's enough warning for
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert! There was a big war that, in terms of world, it lasted for 4 damn days.
True.
But it took up like 150 to 200 chapters.
Damn.
So it was nuts.
Yeah.
I think the ending was a little. Some parts of the ending were a little forced.
I know there was that whole thing with like the characters ending up with each other. Like it said, like, oh, when they grow up, I fucking called Sasusaku when I was like 12. Okay, I was like, no, Sakura's gonna end up with Sasuke.
A lot of people did that.
Fucking called it.
A lot of people were calling that. I personally didn't really care too much.
I was like very heavily invested in it.
I thought it was kind of silly. I thought it was kind of silly that people put so much attention on inter-character relationships of that nature when the show itself wasn't really about that.
I mean,
it was a plot driving point at the very, very beginning. But at the end of the day, I didn't see a huge thing about that. Chad Grover has joined us. Welcome back from Tokyo.
Hello.
He has asked, why is Pop Team Epic the best show this season? I can answer that straight up.
I see screenshots of it.
It's the ultimate shitpost anime. It's hilarious. It is hilarious. And the sub version is great. And apparently in the most recent one, they had the Japanese actors for Frieza from Dragon Ball Z, and I think Cell as well.
Oh, really?
Playing as these 2 main characters. Pretending to be their own characters, which it was funny.
I
It was
haven't
really
watched
funny.
it yet, but I keep seeing the people posting like memes of it on
It's
Twitter.
Yeah. You can actually watch Pop Team Epic everywhere in North America, pretty much.
Mm.
Funimation got the license for broadcast dub. Crunchyroll has the subtitles.
Mm.
High Dive in the U.S. also got it. That's one that Sentai Filmworks tends to work with a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it's everywhere. Apparently, it was an open license
Mm.
for that. So I thought it was pretty cool.
Oh, cool.
Um,
Yeah.
thought that was pretty cool. Let me see. Um, I'm not sure how to pronounce this name. It's like Foop Pepper. Does the final episode mean that Otaku Podcast is over after this episode?
Yes and no. Yes, as in we don't have any scheduled dates or any plans to do it in the future, but we said like, oh, if we ever decide to get together and do like a reunion episode, or if there's a series that comes out that's just so good that we want to do an episode talking about it, like we'll bring it back.
Yeah, I agree with that sentiment perfectly. Like that's probably the best way to talk about it. Smash Kevin Smash, our friend who's traveling to Japan, it says, "What would you recommend to do in the Tokyo Prefecture for a week?" Tokyo Prefecture is huge, dude. So there's lots to do,
It's
but it
like
also
that
depends on where you're staying.
that one episode of Nisekoi Bridge that I did with you, the voice acting, where
Oh yeah,
I'm like, oh, I want to
where
do
you
this
said,
and this
well,
and this and this and this and this, and it's like she wants to do everything in
you're
a
saying
day.
first I want to do this, first I want to do this, then I want to do this, then I want to fly to Okinawa, then I want to go and shop at Shibuya 109, and then Chitoge told you you're paying for all this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was Tokyo Prefecture. It's easy to get around the city if you're in the downtown core. I didn't really leave the city too much while I was there. I spent my first hotel in the area was near Akihabara. So
gotta get the animes and the gamers.
well, actually, surprisingly, I didn't buy too much there. There's a lot of tax-free shops there, which is awesome.
Oh, cool.
And they're all from what I could see, they all had the logo of like the Tourism Japan government department, so it's all legal tax-free stuff, which is awesome. And yeah, but I did spend most of my time while I was in Akihabara looking around in used product stores, so I could see where's the older retro anime stuff. So there was actually lots of really cool like CD shops and stuff, and DVDs, Blu-rays everywhere.
Did you go to a maid cafe?
No, I did not.
Wasted opportunity. Kevin, you have to go.
3 reasons I didn't do it. 1, money. 2, I've never really been big on maids.
Yeah. You've never been big on that? What?
That's never been my thing.
What am I hearing right now? Everyone's big on maids, David. Come on.
You're hearing the truth. I'm not huge on maids. It's never really been something that's really appealed to me. And 3, I was in country for 12 days. That's a lot. That's not a lot of time when you're on a plane for at least 13 hours if you're flying from North America, depending on where.
I cannot believe this.
Philly Pop says, "That's it. Hand your weeb card at the door."
That's true. It's true.
Not everybody's into the same thing. I don't not love maids, but I'm not into like the whole concept of maid cafe.
He's at the default love for maids. He's at default love. Everyone has default love for maidos.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the whole concept. The weird thing, I'm not a huge fan of the whole like fetishization of
not the
like maid culture.
It's like
and
the cute dresses.
The maid cafes.
And you get a drink and they dance. Come on, David.
The maid cafes that I saw in Akihabara, I think I only saw one.
Is it At Home Cafe?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think that was the one.
That's the big one there.
I saw it there. It wasn't open when I was there, and that was okay because I wandered around Akihabara in the early morning, so it wasn't insane, which was good.
The early morning maidos.
No, like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So rush hour's over, but none of the stores were open. That kind of thing. So I was able to get an idea of where things were and take the train around town and all that stuff. So yeah, Tokyo, lots of stuff to do. Akihabara's cool. There's lots of other neighborhoods that are definitely worth checking out. Shibuya tends to be pretty interesting. I didn't spend too much time over there, but I know you would, Sachi, if you had the chance.
I go shopping.
Yeah, Shibuya
spend all the
109 is
money.
enormous.
Yeah, I
It's
want to go.
enormous.
The only thing is though, like Japanese clothes are so cute, but I just wouldn't fit into anything. They're all like so
Uh,
tiny and adorable, and then there's me who's like, although I
I don't
heard,
know.
yeah, they
I don't know because I own a coat that's made by a Japanese company that I bought here in Canada like 5, 6 years ago, and
is it super
it's
dry?
no, it's super dry. It's a winter coat, like a ski jacket.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's really good. It wasn't cheap, but it was
Mhm.
very good.
Mhm.
Luckily, I got it on sale. Um, but yeah, no, they have sizes for North American uh,
Mm.
North American audiences in other parts of the world.
Mm.
It just tends to be a little tricky in
Mm.
terms of finding sizes that don't make you feel bigger than you are. Because
True.
the coat that I have is triple XL in Japanese size,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
but for an American size, it's just an extra large.
Mhm. Yeah.
So it when I saw it the first time, I thought, oh my god,
I feel like I've
it's like
seen photos of what is it, that Shibuya crossing? And like all the stores around are all ones that we have here anyway, so it's all like Zara, H&M,
yes, that's true. That's
like
true.
you
That's
see a
fair.
lot of Americanized stores or
Mhm.
international like brands there.
Yeah, there are a lot of international brands there, which is good.
Mhm.
To expand a little more on Kevin's question, but also on something Chad said. Chad has said October is an expensive season to travel here. I say yes and no because I didn't book in October. I booked like 2 months in advance, so I got
Mm.
pretty good deals. So it really depends on where you're staying and what your budget is.
Mm.
But he is right about one thing: is that it tends to rain a lot in October. It is rainy season.
Mhm.
Apparently, they have two rainy
Mm.
seasons: spring and autumn. So
Mhm.
that kind of stinks. But it it wasn't too bad while I was there, save for Typhoon Lan. That was
Mm.
that was
Lucky
that was an
timing.
event. But I apparently Tokyo got hit way harder than Osaka did, so I was really lucky in being in Osaka the day it hit.
Mm.
So yeah, there's that. Lots of cool stuff to do in Tokyo. Hit me up on Twitter if you want to talk more about it.
Yeah.
Let me think.
I really
Red
want to go
Star
to Japan.
Red Star Rising. Has anyone read Berserk? I just finished reading the third volume.
I don't think I have.
Was this? I haven't. It's I don't know. Like it was never something that really caught my attention. But what I do know is that the Berserk 2016 adaptation is all CG, and everyone is really not cool with
Really?
that.
Oh, I
People
didn't know
really
that.
dislike them.
I'm really
People
not
really,
updated with it.
they're really not digging it, and the only reason I know it's a thing is because there's memes of it.
Hmm.
So it's interesting. It's interesting. I haven't watched all of it, but I've seen memes, and I'm thinking, oh, I feel bad.
I think I read it like back in the day because I went I when I used to take books out from the library or like take manga out, they always had really old series or like older
Yeah.
series. So I think I kind of read it, but it wasn't like violent, and I was like, no.
Hmm.
Someone in the chat, I don't know where the question was, but I saw it earlier, and it was something like, "Is it hard to get a press pass at a convention if you're a
Yes,
smaller YouTuber?"
I can see
Um,
that.
I would say it really depends on the convention. If you go to Anime Expo, it's really hard. And basically, if they don't give them out to YouTubers, you usually have to do it through a company. So when I did it in the past, I got press passes through my like YouTube network, so like Geek and Sundry, and then I got one through Smoke Bomb Entertainment as like a freelance reporter kind of. But if you go to Anime North, it is pretty easy. I think you still have to have a decent audience. Like I would say maybe like 1,000 YouTube subscribers, or like if you have a website like a blog or something, or you post articles on an anime news website, and you kind of show that you're active in what you do, and you kind of state the coverage that you're going to be doing. For example, for me, I just read like con blogs or like general
Hmm.
convention tours. But if you want to do like interviews, or if you want to interview any of the special guests that they have on, then it is quite easy. I think as long as you're active in the community, and especially the Toronto community, you'll get a press pass.
In other words, I'm not eligible because I'm not that active. So, but
I
that's
would
fine.
say no. They're actually like, it's pretty easy to get a press pass at Anime North.
Yeah,
I would say like,
Highland's saying it.
yeah, okay.
Highlands
So
is saying in the
basically, for
chat that
me, because I've gotten a press pass every single year that I've applied for one, When you apply for a press pass, you can often ask for additional like passes. So, for example, Matt's my photographer, aka he carries my bags around. He's actually the press pack mule. But I've gotten them for other people. If you apply for a press pass, you can also try getting one for like an additional photographer or like videographer. I would just say like apply for it. If you don't, then whatever, just buy a ticket. But if you do get a press pass, then there's a free weekend pass. So
yeah,
nice-oo.
I'm just sort of thinking, the questions have been here, and I think we've got most of them.
Highland says you're a cutie pie.
Who says? Highland says that. Highland says that. He also says, "Yep, you go and you'll see. You'll be awakened about maid cafes." Has he ever been to Japan?
He hasn't been to Japan, but I think he's seen like a convention maid cafe before. Because he went to Anime North, so I think, which is pretty similar. The maids are all super cute, and they dance for you and bring you cake. So the concept is there.
I think the one thing that put me off the most about maid cafes in Japan was I was walking in Akihabara area, just getting off the train, and there's these young ladies in maid outfits, handing out flyers for stuff.
Yeah, they give you the tissue packs.
Like, no, not even that. Not even that. It's just ads for stores that are just like just a little bit down the road. I thought, okay, that's a little. It works in terms of getting people's attention.
I feel like Japanese people are so desensitized by it. They're like, oh, another maid.
I felt kind of bad. Because whenever people are handing things out on the streets here in Toronto, be it like those crazy, I call them crazy, but that doesn't mean they are. Crazy people who are saying, "Hey, have you been saved by religion A or B?"
Mm-hmm.
I just walk past and I ignore them because I don't want to get into a debate with somebody. I don't want to.
Now, if there was a tiny Asian girl in a maid outfit being like, "Is Jesus Christ your savior?" you'd be like, "Hell yeah, hell yeah, give me that flyer." So it's marketing tactics. The Japanese are very smart. It is a marketing
tactic. It is a marketing tactic. But at the same time, they were these young women were speaking explicitly in Japanese. They weren't changing back and forth, saying one thing in Japanese and saying it in English or any other language for that matter. So they were. It seemed very apparent to me that they were all specifically focused on the home market, which I get. The home market, if you can't sustain yourself in the home market and have to depend on tourism, it's not a great business model. Even though Japan had, according to the NHK, an exceptionally good year for tourism last year. I think I remember seeing that on average, visitors to Japan from all around the world spent about $1,500 per person while they were in country.
True.
Over the course of all of 2017. So I think that's pretty good. And I think they had over 8.5 million visitors. Dang. I'd have to double check that number. Have to double check that number, but it was some pretty impressive numbers.
For sure. Mr. Dombo says, "Hell yeah, tiny maid girl, let me join your religion." Woo!
I saw that. That's pretty funny.
Oh, the quality content on Otaku. I bet you guys are gonna miss this.
Speaking of quality content in Otaku, do you have a favorite moment from the podcast in general, or something that just sort of stood out that's always been in your head whenever you think Otaku?
Whenever I think of the Otaku podcast, I think of the time we did the Toradora podcast and then realized that I wasn't recording audio for any of it, so we had to re-record it, and it took us like 2 hours. That was literally like the one moment where I was like, oh shit. And because it wasn't live, like no one was in the chat to be like, "Oh, Sachi, turn the sound on." No, it was literally like we recorded a 40-minute long podcast thinking that I was recording it, and then I looked down and it was like the little speaker had like a line through it, and I was like, fuck. God damn it.
It was so sad because you said, guys, stop. I'm not recording audio. And B and I just...
And then literally I could see in David's eyes where he was like, "You fucking moron. Like, I can't believe this."
That's not, I don't think that was it. The eyes were thinking, "Oh, fuck, we had such a great thing going.
We did. That was
and now we're going to do it again."
So if you think the Toradora podcast sounded good, it's literally because we rehearsed it once and then had to say the exact same jokes and laugh at the exact same jokes.
And they weren't as funny the second time around, so it seemed forced.
But I think it was a funny moment to look back on. Because every time I think of the podcast, I think of that moment and how we look back on it and we laugh at it because it was just so stupid.
Yeah, I remember that, and I'm just remembering that. I'm just remembering that being the most popular episode of this podcast, even though it's not part of the 1 through 20.
Really?
It is.
How many views is it
I
at?
think it has over 10,000, 12,000 views on YouTube,
Damn, I didn't realize it was
which
like
is
that.
well, it
Yeah.
probably because it's the originally the special episodes were uploaded to my channel, so
Yeah.
so I was really the only one who could see the metrics on that.
Okay. No, that's awesome.
But then we decided after the second one, yeah, we're just gonna put it up on Sachi TV.
Yeah.
It makes more sense.
Yeah. It worked out. So, in case you ever want to go back and watch our previous episodes, they'll be over on my channel. Like, they're still there.
Wow, I have to update that number on the Toradora special.
Mm,
Toradora special is 3 views short of 20,000 views since we
damn.
uploaded it. Like,
Wow.
for considering my channel doesn't have much traffic as it is,
I mean, it's a timeless series. Everyone loves Toradora.
it is. It's
Timeless
10 years
series.
old this year.
I can't believe that.
Neither can I.
It doesn't feel like 10 years.
It does not feel like 10 years, and I
Mm.
just remember watching it on Crunchyroll years ago, and then all of a sudden I hear that the dub was coming out after I'd finished watching it in Japanese. I thought, okay, it's mostly dubs come out on disc rather than on streaming services. So I thought, this gives me a chance to buy a great series on disc, and I wasn't disappointed with the dub.
I still have my like the Toradora
Your
jacket.
cosplay?
The Ami cosplay, yeah, it's one of my favorite ones to do actually.
Yeah, it would make sense because it's the 10-year anniversary to do a cosplay of
Oh my
Ami
god, I
this year.
should. Maybe I'll cosplay her again at like Anime Expo or something.
Something like that. Anime
Bring it
Expo would
back.
probably get more appreciation for it.
Yeah. Maybe like Anime North. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah, it was, yeah, there's lots of cool stuff out there. Did you have a favorite episode aside from the Toradora episode, or was that just like the takes the cake, no exceptions?
I liked that one, and then I also really liked the Studio Ghibli episode, which I think was our second one.
Yeah,
I really like the earlier ones, and I think I like the ones about more classic series, and I think the newer series because it engaged more discussion. Like everyone's seen Studio Ghibli films, you can easily. I think most people who are into anime can at least name like a top 3. And also because I just really like Studio Ghibli films.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of stuff out there from Studio Ghibli that's pretty cool.
Yeah. What about you? What was your favorite?
When we talked, well, I know what one wasn't because I wasn't on it. Bungo Stray Dogs.
Oh yeah.
You, B, and Ben just went to town because I wasn't available to do it. Unfortunately, I had other obligations. But I remember that one being like the most popular one aside from the Toradora one, specifically because of the fact that it was airing and it was current.
Yeah.
And even the ReZero one didn't do as well in terms of performance as that, which was surprising because I loved ReZero.
Yeah, ReZero was good. It was very emotional.
I loved that show. I loved it so much I bought the soundtrack.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I'm just remembering all these different things we've done over the last, I'm gonna say year and a half, because there was a good like 8 months where we tried to get things going with B, and it just did not work out for a variety of reasons, mostly just because of time difference. And Fei-chan is making me laugh really hard because she's encouraging Highlands to cosplay as Taiga.
Yeah, it's okay. I'll get him to do it. Don't worry. It's gonna happen.
I mean, it's the only way I could see that not
he
working.
He refuses to cosplay with me. He won't do it.
I know how tall Highlands is.
Yeah.
So Taiga might be a bit tricky.
But it's fun. I love seeing those like weird man cosplays at Anime North where they take a character that's like, and they clearly just don't give a fuck about actually cosplaying it. Like the bearded Sailor Moons are my favorite because it's like it's just like a burly looking dude wearing like like a blonde wig and like a sailor outfit. So that's gonna be that.
Yeah,
don't worry.
That'd be interesting.
OP will deliver.
I don't think I could do cosplay. I mean, the only one I could probably pull off, and people are gonna roll their eyes about this, is probably Kirito. More so because he's so basic, and it's so easy.
Yeah. He's a cool costume though. He's a cool costume.
I wear enough black as it is, so things are pretty easy.
Edgelord.
I wear enough. Well, it's just easier. It's just easier. I don't have to do like 20 different style loads of laundry. Just one thing. Why are we talking about laundry on a freaking podcast about anime? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's signaling something to me that that I didn't really want to have come, but
Yeah.
it really comes down to
You should
starting
cosplay.
to wrap.
Do it. It's fun.
I'll think about it because it's the accessories that are expensive.
You can make it work. Nothing in cosplay has to be expensive. There's always a DIY way around it.
This is true. Yes.
Um,
Sachi, what's next?
what's next?
What's next for us? What's next for the podcast? What's going on?
Okay.
Did you have any plans for this? Because I'm not sure.
So I've started getting back into YouTube after basically like not uploading anything at all last year. Yeah, I'm getting back into YouTube videos, so I'm starting to reactivate my channel. As for Otaku, all of the previous episodes, as I mentioned before, as well as this one, they'll be uploaded over on the Sachi TV channel with all the other episodes. They'll be up in case you ever feel nostalgic and want to watch back, or if you have to take a trip and want to listen to us ramble on about the animes.
And other things.
The animes.
They'll still be on YouTube.
Yeah.
They'll still be on the YouTube, as you said.
So,
they'll also be available in audio form. On DB Steel Media /Otaku, which dbsteelmedia.ca/Otaku, where we have this whole page dedicated to the podcast, and all the audio things are there. They're identical to the YouTube videos, but if you're on the train or just needing to not blow through an insane amount of data while on your phone and not on Wi-Fi, then you can just listen to it that way. And it's available there for free and should be there for the foreseeable future.
What about the Otaku socials, David?
So not that a ton of people were using it, but the Otaku Facebook page is gone. It
wasn't really that active anyway.
It was never very active. When I set them up, the Twitter and the Facebook, I thought, okay, better to cover all the bases than to leave one unmanned in that regard. So Facebook is gone, as is the platform, because Facebook is.
Facebook's disgusting, but Twitter is fun. The only thing.
Oh, I have to disagree with you on that one too.
I love Twitter. Twitter's my favorite.
Twitter. I don't mind Twitter, but I guess it depends on whether I'm willing to get involved in like vicious and visceral debates, which I really don't like doing. But the Twitter account, I'm still flip-flopping on that. We might.
I think we should just leave it.
I think we'll just leave the Twitter account, and I guess we'll put a pin or something saying thanks for watching, and you can still see our stuff here, that kind of thing. It won't be as active. It hasn't been very active lately, but actually Kevin had a really good idea. Don't upload till April, then it'll be your lie in April, which is good. I respect your thing there, but now that I'm thinking about, did we ever cover your lie in April? I feel
like we brought it up.
I don't know if we ever covered it or gave it a dedicated episode. That show was awesome.
Well, Otaku's over, so thanks for we're done.
That show
David's
was
like,
over.
please.
Yeah. Then there's also the thing, as we mentioned before, that you and I are collaborating on Nisekoi Bridged episode 4.
Yes.
And that thing I was alluding to earlier that says there will be a small and hopefully pleasant surprise in there for Otaku viewers. So when that comes out, please give it a watch, and
definitely repost
hopefully
it.
Hopefully it's not too cringy. I'll do my best.
Okay, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here.
I feel kind of bad because King Jin 85 just showed up and says, "Hey, Sachi and David."
Okay,
oh
well,
my goodness, I feel bad.
And stream's over. Any final statements? Any final messages to everyone?
I think for final statements, that's tricky. Hopefully, we'll be able to not necessarily come back as Otaku, but maybe do something similar and maybe have a little more structure and stuff like that, so it's easier to get together and chat. If you're moving downtown, then you would have more ready access to the YouTube space.
Yeah.
Could encourage us, the two of us, and maybe some other people as well, to come hang out there and do some recordings and so forth.
Live podcast.
That actually wouldn't be so bad. With really good cameras and not Skype.
Yeah, we'll have like a crew do it.
Not Skype. Yeah, no, I'm hoping that I might be able to collaborate a little more with Sachi. Uh, I know that I know for a fact that she does have Civilization 5, so we might do like a montage or something. I'll try
Oh
and
my
talk her
god,
into
an
it.
8 hour long stream.
No, not even a stream necessarily. We could do it as a stream, but it depends on time and
The
internet.
10,
Because
12 hour long Civ
you
5.
have a job, you have a job in
Yay!
life, and in life that I am hoping to be able to say the same thing
You
the
will
next time.
too. You will too. Don't worry, you'll get there, David.
Eventually, I'll get there, I'm sure. But
um,
anyway, that's all I had to say.
yeah, as for me, thank you guys for following us for the past 2 years ish. It's been really fun. I've really liked having this platform where I could like invite my friends on and talk about the animes. It was really fun, and I think it was a nice way for us to all stay connected after university as well. Because I know like kind of once you graduate, it's hard where people kind of split off into their own different directions. But
Oh,
it was nice to
absolutely.
keep that little community. And thank you to everyone who like watched an episode or hung out with us on stream or like modded our chats. It was really fun. Hopefully, I'm planning to move out in like June, so more streams coming your way then. I'm definitely probably not gonna stream until I move out because the setup is not ideal. But yeah, as for Otaku, it's been a good run.
It
Thanks,
has been a good run.
guys.
Thank you very much, all of you, one and
Yeah,
all, and for tuning in and listening to our discussions and my incessant rambling and nonstop melodrama.
and we'll
Uh,
save this layout in case we ever want to do another
in case
surprise
we want to
Otaku
do,
podcast.
yeah, that's why we say it's indefinite because we're not sure if it'll come back. Maybe we do sort of I don't know, maybe like specials once
Mm.
or a couple times in a year. Maybe that's best case scenario where, like you were saying earlier, something really hot comes up, say of the caliber of Pop Team Epic for its popularity, and it's just something we just really want to talk about. So I think that'll be worth it. Philly,
I
see
started playing in the background.
the tricky part about that, Philly, is every time I'm staring off to the top right corner, every time I go on a tangent, it's because when I do that, it's because Sachi is up here for me on the in the top right corner
Yeah,
because
we're on
of
Skype.
size of the screen. So because of the size of my screen, so it's not like I have the video right here because there's other
Mm-hmm.
stuff happening. So
Good thing
I
we
feel kind
had
of bad.
some last final little technical difficulties. I mean, it wouldn't be an otaku podcast with me
It
fucking
wouldn't
up the screen somehow.
it wouldn't be Otaku without a technical problem getting in our way again. I think the first time we had a technical problem, there was also a blizzard outside, so
Yeah.
that also made it trickier to work with.
Yay. Okay, well, we're going to wrap it up
Cheers.
here. But yeah, cheers, guys. Thanks for joining us. We hope you guys
Thank you
enjoyed this
for
last podcast, and we'll see you again soon, maybe. If you haven't already, go follow us on the Twitters. All of our links and the previous podcasts will be up there. And
Yep.
yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one, maybe. If there is a
We'll
next
we'll
one.
we will see you all soon. Maybe in Otaku again, maybe in something new. We'll keep you posted. Follow us
Yay.
on Twitter for that. Um,
Yay.
there's an old saying that says all good things must come to an end, regrettably. It's sad. It's always sad to part ways with things that are fun and great, but
Mhm.
there are times where you just have to say those things were great, but if they stretch out longer, they will become train wrecks like the original Naruto series with all their filler,
No.
with all their filler that had nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. We'll
You.
see you soon.
We'll see you all soon in our next adventure.
Yay. Bye.
Take care, everyone.